Hi, I'm Troy Torres, and this is Claskers. Today we're gonna talk about the Great War and the following events that marked the beginning of the 20th century.
The Great War. In late June 1940, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria was assassinated. This event was the immediate cause of the Great War. The main causes are four. One is militarism, which refers to the increase of military spending. Germany had the greatest increase in military buildup. Britain and Germany increased their navies. The Russian and German influence on the public policy helped to push the countries involved to the war. The alliance system was another important cause of the World War I. By 1907, Europe was divided into two armed camps. The Triple Entente, later known as the Allies, was formed by Britain, France, and Russia, and the Triple Alliance, later known as the Central Powers, consists of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. The economic and political control over weaker nations known as imperialism is considered as another cause of the war, because the empires had created competition among the countries. The desire for greater empires led to an increase in confrontation that helped to push the world into the World War I. As nationalism led to rivalries and conflicts among the nations, this ideology is part of the four aspects that caused the Great War, now known as the World War I. Various ethnic groups wanted independence. Russia and Austria-Hungary disagreed over the treatment of the Serbs in Central Europe. The World War I was unlikely any war preceding it. It was the first truly modern war because technology had never been put up to such destructive ends. It was the first war in which the airplanes saw widespread use, and the first one involved tanks, submarines, and modern poison gas also had the first widespread use in World War I. Also, these war guns could get to fire 60,000 rounds per minute. Hoisters, flamethrowers, torpedoes, U-boats, phosphorus grenades, falcons, searchlights, gas marks, camouflage, railroad guns, blimps were also used in the Great War. The World War I was the most disastrous war ever fought in history. Treaty of Versailles. The treaty includes 15 parts and 440 articles. The Part 1 created the Covenant for New League of Nations, which Germany was not allowed to join until 1926. The Part 2 specified Germany's new boundaries, giving European to Belgium, Alsace-Lorraine back to France, substantial eastern districts to Poland, Memel to Lithuania, and large portions of Schleswig to Denmark. Part 3 stipulated a demilitarized zone and separated the Saarland from Germany for 15 years. Part 4 stripped Germany for all its colonies, and Part 5 reduced Germany's armed force to very low levels and prohibited Germany from possessing certain class of weapons. The treaty established 9 new nations: Finland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, Poland, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, and it destroyed the Ottoman Empire and the Austro-Hungarian. The treaty had various consequences. It created more nations, so Europe was altered geographically. The treaty blamed Germany for the war, so more tension was created. It stopped the monarchy and the Kaiser ruled in Germany. Many historians claim that the combination of the harsh treaty and subsequent lax enforcement of its provisions paved the way for the upsurge of German militarism in 1930s. The Great Depression. The beginning of the Great Depression was marked with the stock market crash of the Black Tuesday in October 1929. But this was not the cause of it. Some of the main causes were many bank failures and bank panic. This meant that small banks, particularly in rural areas, had overextended credit to farmers. Farmers bought expensive machines that led them to bankrupt. Meanwhile, big banks had foolishly made huge loans to foreign countries. Food overproduction and environmental disasters took part in the Great Depression. Suffocating clouds of dirt, called dust bowls, affected the agrarian economy. In addition, President Herbert Hoover didn't intervene enough in helping to restore the economy. This period of time was characterized by massive unemployment. It leaped from 3% in 1929 to 25% in 1933. More or less around 6,000 of banks were closed, and 1 out of every 4 workers was out of job. Extreme poverty, high unemployment, hunger, and disparity between families were some of the aspects that characterized the Great Depression. It finished by the end of the 19th. A totalitarian government is a single-party dictatorship that controls all aspects of public and private life. The government has absolute power over everyone and uses the army to enforce its regime. Citizens do not enjoy individual rights such as freedom of expression or assembly. North Korea is actually considered to have a totalitarian regime because, in addition to repressing its own citizens, North Korea does not cooperate with other world powers or adhere to international treaties. This country has been ruled by the same family since 1948. The family has been running the country based on the concept of self-reliance. However, severe economic declines have contributed to the country's struggle to maintain totalitarianism. Another countries that can be considered as an example of government that actually have some characteristics of a totalitarian regime are Iraq, Syria, and China. One totalitarian regime that definitely stands out is the one that Benito Mussolini practiced. Mussolini was the founder of fascism, a totalitarian philosophy that glorifies the state and nation and assigns to the state control over every aspect of national life. Mussolini was the leader of Italy from 1922 to 1943. He allied Italy with Nazi Germany and Japan in World War II. Benito Mussolini was considered a dictator. He was born in 1883. Originally a revolutionary socialist, he forged the paramilitary fascist movement in 1919 and became prime minister in 1922. Mussolini's military expenditures in Libya, Somalia, Ethiopia, and Albania made Italy predominant in the Mediterranean region, though they exhausted his armed forces by the late 1930s. Mussolini was killed shortly after the German surrender in Italy in 1945. Benito's fascist system is designed to ensure the priority of the political leadership's objectives over the private economic interests of the citizens. Therefore, under fascism, most of the more important markets are allowed to operate only in a non-competitive way and governmentally controlled.
Dictatorship, he tortured people, he held women and children hostages to make suspects give themselves up, he gave people away to the interests of the Nazis. The outcome was a lot of dead people, which was not good for Italy, and the human rights violated by this were the right of security of person, the right that no one shall be subjected to torture, and that no one shall be subjected. By doing this, he violated a reasonable amount of human rights. He violated the right of security of person, the right that no one shall be subjected to torture, and that no one shall be subjected to arbitrary detention.